Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Conservative Bro right here. Like, comment, and subscribe. You like what you're hearing. You like to see more of this type of content right here. And we're going to continue with the topic today of the Muslim influence in the United States. Let me know as well what is your thoughts about the situation. We can either communicate or others can hear your thoughts and either ideas or things of that nature. So when it comes down to the Muslim influence, to me, it's alarming the rates that people are, let's say in New York with New York City, with Mayor Mamdani, the amount of people moving in, whether it's just immigration that's already been here, mosques being built. They're literally talking about every single street corner. In a place like New York, which is one of the most expensive places to own, let alone build property. Okay, so the amount of Muslim influence that is moving in, that is probably already there, has been in other places in America as well. There's been even terrorism affiliations as well. I'm pretty sure you know about the university's situation and the woman's husband affiliations, and was caught in the act, and the professor was dealt with by the Trump administration. I thought that it was done with, or it was at least some type of example when it comes down to life or death being involved. Some type of, but it looks like it's a bigger problem. And it doesn't look easy to solve. This is one of those situations where it's ongoing and oncoming and incoming and outgoing. So there's like a traffic stop of sorts, based on also what is going on with other countries with the mass migration. To me, this is just I cannot particularly say the exact on every single thing that's going on, but it doesn't make too much sense for me, because people, how can I say, well, basically, when you go and get sometimes people from desperate situations, you can get desperate people with desperate things for cash as well, whatever country you're talking about. So whether that's Venezuela, whether that's whatever country you're going to name, the Middle East as well, Africa. Ever since, I'm pretty sure you know, crime to the roof immediately when Venezuela people started immigrating. I'm not saying everybody there is in there, but it's been like to the point where the president himself, communist guys, been supplying things that are illegal. Venezuelan crime organizations. And with that said, alone, who knows whether it's in the Middle East as well, which it's been known in certain countries that these types of things is normal, standard, and even celebrated. kidnappings, there's been rapes, molestations, people that were homeless in a park suddenly taking over the park and cutting chickens with the head cut off and putting them on top of their heads and all of this barbaric age things in a modern place. It people who do not have a place of residence should not be coming here, in my opinion. It only makes, or I said make, it can increase the rates and probabilities. There was in one desperation, now they're in another, and they think that they can get a lot more doing bad things here than they could in their own country because of that. Of cities too, because a lot of these people are not, you know, coming in with the resources, the funds to, let's say, move in a part of the state that is not populated, that needs population. That would be a different story. But they're going straight to like the biggest cities, the most expensive, Chicago, New York, LA, the expensive cities in the world, trying to get the biggest break. And some of these places, like in Chicago and other places, you'd be surprised, New York as well. The ones that have gotten help, like the gang has everything they need. They have guns, phones, cars. They living together too. So it's just more. Maybe here in this country, they're not willing to do. People for gang members from other countries, they see the resources here different and they operate different as well. And it just, like you've seen the Colorado takeover, that's one situation right there that I never thought I would see or in the news in America, where all that someone needs is enough guns and they just walk up to it. And that sounds absolutely insane, barbaric. Like could have been women and kids there. Colorado's a state where certain types of things for self-defense can be found in vending machines. So it could have literally been on the way to school one day. Like kids couldn't make it home. Like this is insane. And then after you see in Louisiana, somebody from Hamas, a leader, was found and arrested and deported. So the same people that are already in here have some type of connection that knows somebody that influenced somebody like that to feel comfortable enough to come here. No real want or connection to try to, just find a better job, better life. Yeah, so in my opinion, these things can escalate where, somebody comes from a desolate area. They're probably not even used to working a job. There's people in whatever country it is, whether it's African country. I mean, for now, I'm not even gonna mention Africa because I'm not hearing about, anything really crazy going on in the news besides, the Nigerian massacre. But still, if you come from an area like that, right, or whatever, so say South Sudan or heavy war area where Tutsi terrorists can come at any time and start shooting at regular people just going on their way to church, on the way to work or whatever. Um, to me, that's sad. 7,000 people a year since like the 90s, I believe, or 2007. And then there was another one in the 90s. Believe Black Hawk Down was in Sudan, the movie, and or Desert Storm. But regardless of that, uh, matter of fact, yeah, no, we're gonna get into that. If you're used to hostile takeovers happening at any time, some of these places, even Africa, any girl can get raped at any time. There's no, I would like U.S. sometimes to fight that, but it's like when you have these places that are under provided, under resourced, under governed, under it's like It's very hard. They're not even used to a policeman walking down the street. If anything, it's only when people from these terrorist organizations, and sadly, so you know, when somebody it comes from that type of environment, even Haiti, especially in this situation where the government is in war and things of that nature, it becomes a hostile. It can become a playground for the criminals. Like they're used to doing absolutely anything. That's just why they're waging the type of war they are against the government and the civilian for a hostile takeover to, just ruin the lives of others, and other civilians have joined, whether they was forced to or whether they didn't have a choice or whatever. Maybe they thought it was just a simple thing and it escalated. I don't know. I can't say, but the amount of measures of protection and just certain things of like a thief who sees an easy opportunity, nobody's watching, to steal something valuable in this country, they'll take it in probably like so fast you forget that you even had it. Like, so imagine in those countries. And that's just that category. So it's like for a Hamas leader to come here because he's already seeing or believing ways to immobilize here in America, and he's already he chose Louisiana. He didn't choose a big city. He chose Louisiana. So who knows what kind of things is going on over there or in general, that he feels so much liberty. Like I've even seen like places like Georgia, not Georgia, Mississippi, and around that area of the country, and the second after English and Spanish, I believe, right? Or just after English in some cases. Most spoken language is Indian and sometimes even like Arabic. So the amount of people, it's like 3 million people, and a lot of them are from very specific, absolutely no kind, like Afghanistan, no kind of restrictions in place for dangerous people to do what they do on the street. It seems like the government is against people who are decent, people who just want to work and do their jobs, and they're saying they're doing this in the name of religion as well. So it's like it's in situations like that, it can be more clear that it's just good and evil. Sometimes it's not that clear, but it's still like you should not be playing any games and or be sleeping on the wheel at any given time. Like that, just for a demonstration of rebellion, a bomb can go off in their own country. So what this is a stranger's country. And if people don't even want to learn English because they believe this is the land of the infidels, like Osama bin Laden. Like I'm not gonna put every Muslim in a terrorism category, but if a Muslim can be easily influenced or forced, like some of these Taliban type of people do, they take over the country and force the young to go and do this, like I seen in Afghanistan and other places. If they're gonna be forced to do that and there's no willingness to fight against, then it can look clearer that we need to focus on defense more, much more than embrace and open arms to any type of thing that can happen. Like the only reason they were safe in a country was because somebody with the U.S., a U.S. mindset, U.S. government, U.S. of A. So who's to say, according to how I know Trump operates and have done and watching the news and sorts, that their way of life and understanding of peace was not only through American influence, American ambassadors walking through, military men, the culture of America being, uh, left over there, we can say, that wasn't the only reason. And to top it off, uh, with Trump putting specific legislations to protect soldiers and the government as well. There can't be any craziness going on nonstop, like nonstop bombs or people with military equipment walking down the street. You know, enemy forces, tanks just patrolling around us when we got our own protection, and they're really leaving IEDs on the entrance of the U.S. embassy that I've seen even on it was a TV show that had to do with that, a bomb squad type of stuff. I believe it was like it was on G4 back then as well. But they made so much of these shows. They do so much different names because it was so often in those places. Have you seen that people will say, okay, oh, not all Muslims are like that, but if that is the norm, then we should be in that specific country, and people from that specific country are coming here. And we don't, even know because the government might not even, like I said, they barely even patrol down the street, and if they do, it's probably not. It's only for extreme cases. We don't know how much crimes, who got caught or not. They probably don't even have the most technology. They're not getting paid as much as well. Um, they're not as passionate about their position. The police officers here, not going to talk too much, but I'm not going to say that almost nobody, this everybody loves their job. So can you imagine over there? So even a criminal record or not, it doesn't mean anything if nobody's enforcing the law. So it's by that many, so you shouldn't even be allowed to come into the country. Like, you know what I mean? Like anybody, kids getting kidnapped in Afghanistan, 6 years old with lollipops, it's normal over there. I hear in Gaza as well. This is not, I'm not going to say the most, I'm not even going to say too much. I'm going to say that these type of incidences here are absolutely like mind boggling. Over there, these are things that can happen in life. You're trained to be a killer for this and that, and put a bomb on his chest, and this is insane. Like the southern border should have protection because this is where most of these people are coming from. Like even the southern border, whether it's Venezuela, or, excuse me, whether it's Venezuela, whether it is whatever country in that southern border that comes in, whether it's Haiti, whether it's this or that, whether it's you already know the country on the south of the border. It is not a safe place at all. Bombs go off there too, and it's like the only country in the south that southern border that does that. Like the fact that at a beach they need military vehicles to protect um, people in a resort. That is insane to me. They're not there for show either. They're you're walking down the street and they can possibly aim at you just being so scared. So this is not like if anything, the government. I'm not even gonna say should intervene because it's like we already getting into these wars and a lot of our economy went down because of the Ukraine war. Biden was not trying to negotiate in any way, and now, even though Ukraine's been doing a lot of damage to Russia, it's like inhabitable because so much missiles been flying over there, so much debris, so much just to clean up. Yeah, that bullets on the street. Hope that somebody wants to come back soon and open a business there because if regular residents go back immediately after the war, there's not going to be any jobs waiting for them. So that's a whole nother problem to solve. So I liked it that they were in Afghanistan. I understand that they had to leave. It looked good. Like it was safe for like 10 years straight, right? 10 years. No absolute, nothing going on, no crazy government takedowns. You would think that they would learn, the people would feel safe. They left with American technological, high powered, high extensive grounds and even helicopters that they would be able to be safe, and not even that was safe. So the same way you wouldn't let a regular guy down the street down your house, why would you let him into the country and from that type of country? Like to develop in any type of ally over there is the hardest thing to do. The hardest. This is like mind breaking. Like you won the lottery kind of a deal from that region. The only person that never did nothing to us, never tried to, attack the U.S. in any type of way or the ambassadors, and wasn't affiliated with any of that, hiding Bin Laden or Saddam Hussein. Like no, they don't even know anybody who sounds like that. Like is Israel, sadly. That so this is how dangerous that region has been. Like people do not have the will to fight back over there. Just how dangerous the government himself said from Afghanistan that even though they had resistance for, there's so much people from other countries trying to fight that the soldiers just quit. They left and the people just gave in because they literally just to be against the terrorism, you had to be against the whole region. This is what people are saying, or all of the terrorism that is going on in the region. That is how bad intentioned and how badly ran these countries are that you can't even trust children down the street. So can you imagine the trauma that soldiers of American soil had to face just being there and to see that nothing was resolved? And it's just swiped away off of a signature. Whether whoever was in charge did the situation or not, it's still like you would want lives to be lost before a victory of some sort, change of scenery, a change of something. So for them to come here in this country, I'm not gonna say regular oppressed citizen is in the same category as somebody who sold mangoes, just put a table and I don't know, sold sandals. I'm not gonna put him in the same exact caliber as an old man, let's say, as a man with an AK-47 and bombs and and all this other stuff, attack dogs and whatever it is, right? Leading the army. But those people, it's so hard to figure out, and we should not allow. It don't matter how sorry you feel for them, and you feel sorry. Go sense. What's it called? I don't even know because it's sad. Like we can't even help their country out instead, so they don't have to come over here. If you feel have that type of idea or whatever. that even sending money in these countries, we can go straight to the Taliban, as you've seen. Like how does the Taliban just walk into a president's office and make a speech, and everybody is calm, they're used to it, nobody's scared. It's like, hey, oh yeah, we seen you outside the other day, and yeah, things happen, and well, I'm glad things got resolved, and I guess you're the leader now. Yeah, yay, yay. To me, it's it's like like they knew who somebody was a thief in the neighborhood, somebody, whatever it was, he did something to your son, your daughter, boss, whatever it is, though. Usually it isn't that smooth, that friendly, that whatever, though. Like it wasn't like we killed one of yours, you killed one of ours. It was some type of just strong conservative beliefs. Some people say the Taliban and the terrorists are the conservative ones. Everybody else is kind of liberal and they just do, what they got to do type of situation to live or to survive. So the peaceful one, not going to say they don't want peace, but they are willing to switch sides because that's the only side they know. So if there's 100 slots, this is just a example. Let's say there's 100,000 slots to come into America, right? I do not believe that all of those slots should be available to Afghanistan. It should not all of those slots only be available to Haiti. Companies like even Venezuela, Mexico right now is not attracting in even Latin American countries right now. They're not really attracting the best of people because people are seeing that when they come over here, people that have gone to the border in these caravans. They come in and they're basically like full-fledged attacks. Some even with knives. Some have guns. It's like if that could be me next time. So anybody decent, anybody with a family, a career, no, a job, whether it's hardworking or whatever it is, the most outstanding citizen is not going to want to be anywhere around that type, and then let alone the risk just to get through the border and all this other stuff. So it's a lot of um, situations. There can be gang members from another country that doesn't even speak English that you got to suddenly deal with, and then when people finally do come over here, as I believe if you're willing to be homeless, that is much better than being a criminal. And hey, and people were willing to take the peaceful right that strong, they were left with, maybe in hopes of finding a job left at an airport that was closed down. They closed the windows down. They basically in inhumane jail-like circumstances and are left without a job, with money spent, with money owed, whether it is just or possibly money owed with now they got to find a new job, and it's already hard to find one in their own country. And they're just left stranded because there's so much outlocated resources, and there's to the wrong people as well. Like if one country comes in and crime suddenly goes up crazy just from one country, don't you think that maybe those people you brought in from that country were the problem, or it was just a fluke or an accident all the time, and somebody just there's a banana peel on the floor and somebody slipped. Like, hey, Venezuela has been unstable, and even people like they pay people by food. Like, like rice bags and stuff like that. So and it's you know, in communist countries as well as high level, man, my yeah, they barely getting enough food. It's not like they care to supply with the best of the best, and uh, they believe in one like socialism, one for everybody kind of a type of situation. Jobs can't go in. They've been blockaded off of resources, which is good by the U.S. because they would use the resources to be against us, and that is the norm in the Middle East or in Muslim countries. Some is not exactly on the Middle East. Some is more Asia. Some is more. So it doesn't make any difference. Maybe places like Dubai and Abu, none of those people want to even come over here. You know, it's like, or if they do, nobody's focusing on those countries. We need people from decent countries, right? That actually have a government that is not like a constant terrorism, shoot 'em up, bang, bang, whatever situation like this. No bang bang situation every single day. A bomb going off, no rest, no sense of protection. Anytime somebody can get kidnapped, anytime you know, and expect that those people are gonna have the same exact culture, same exact level of safety, same exact. You know, in one of these countries, if you buy a gun off the street, nobody would ever know, or even check you. You know what I mean? Like, let's say in Afghanistan or something like that. No, nobody's gonna check your ID. So it's like they do that here. You can be in jail for. Like, even with the Indian guy who did the truck, you make an accident in India. It seems like there's so much people over there. There's the policemen ain't really getting paid right. The government isn't in a certain situation. Hey, you kill 20 people on the highway, and hey, just a regular day. I'm sorry, and that's it. And so whether you feel sorry or not, it you just made America worse. Like with that situation, whether he was, I think it wasn't. I'm not even gonna say what I think on the situation. What I'm gonna say is maybe somebody shouldn't get 100 years for that, but at the same time, they shouldn't get no years. So it's like it's that type of. So you shouldn't. We shouldn't have to wait for somebody from another country who doesn't even speak English. Who and now you have to find a lawyer that speaks a certain. In India, there's it's not just Indian language. They have languages that people don't even speak, like Sanskrit or what is it? There's Hindi. That's more that we know of. Sanskrit. There's I was gonna say Bali, but there's something I was thinking about right now that I can't think about. Tegalu, yes, Tegalu. So these are things that are that's just that country, you know. So and then there's constant like it wasn't for Trump, like a lot of these jobs would be taken by people in college with H-1B visas who aren't even who just have a college visa and they can get paid for low because they in their country, the college they come from was a low payment, but they can get paid low and get a sophisticated student that learned English over here part time, you know, and it was all types of wild stuff going on. It was like a Wild West. People call the internet the Wild West for many years because anything seems like can happen on here. And it's just a wild west in real life and in the financial and the job market. Temu, you see what's going on with Temu. They wanted to go and set shop in Mexico. Trump said that I'm gonna win, and if you go over there, I'm gonna put so much sanctions on you, you would not be able to even breathe any products over here. And China left. So basically, one Temu factory this close in this hemisphere, the Northern American hemisphere, could annihilate like 30 Amazon facilities at least. That is like automatically just how cheap Temu is. Just from it was all the way in China or someplace like that coming in there, right? So imagine if they get closer and closer, and it wouldn't be no jobs left. Easy too, because they would be stealing. Let's say they make 100 million the first year. You know how much factories they're gonna want to make on a Christmas too, which is that these are low numbers on Christmas. People make billions on Christmas over there. And so I believe that in this place, God bless, God bless America, land that I love, stand beside her and guide her through the night, through the plight and the night. I don't remember the rest of the song. From the mountain through the bridge, through the ocean. So if you could choose on a ballot on an application, whether it's a job or anything, would you choose the worst candidate when you have other options? And why would you do so? Put it down in the comment section below. But it's the same thing. It should be the same thing here. If there's some people from England that probably want to come over here, Australian, but it's even that's what I'm talking about. There should be. And I know that some of you might sound racist, but right, if you are a African European, an assimilated European, an assimilated Australian or whatever, and like it should have at least maybe not the top of the list because you most likely don't even want to leave your country, right? But if you do want to come in, okay, we at least have a record as well that you have not committed a crime than some of these other countries where nobody even knows because the policemen aren't they're not even that much police outside. You know, so it's like their word does not mean the same word from the cops, sadly, and it's not our fault. All of these countries cannot help. Uh, if you send $1 billion to any of these countries, it's like multiple hundreds of millions were sent to Haiti on an earthquake. The government is most likely not going to do anything. So you have to kind of like sneak in and build stuff and then hope that they don't do nothing either or some type of organization. It's very, you need a prayer. You need missionaries sent over there, to convert people maybe. Like it's not easy. It really is not. I believe we need more instead of I don't want to get into that topic right there, but more USA support shirts, more USA like the MAGA thing. I'm not against making America great again, right? But just the make America great, I think is or things similar to that it just seems like it's a constant renewal state than just a returning state of how things were in a particular time. So there's more areas that need to be either addressed or shown, shown and even motivated and support. A lot of these jobs do not provide that, and people are in these jobs for most of their days, right? The job culture has to change over here. I think it's pretty bad, especially after the pandemic. For the most part, I can't speak about every single job, every single type of trade that somebody may do. If you are in a trade, God bless. If you are a businessman, God bless. I believe that y'all definitely help a lot of Americans out, whether you realize it or not. Besides that point, we can only do so much, and the worst, top of the worst countries, even if it seems like they might need the most help, it's so much help that it should be done in a way where they can assimilate, not where there's so much coming in that they don't even know what noise to hear, where to go, where to, what is better, what isn't better. There's so much different examples from so many different places, so many and they are in the same exact boat as well, even homeless on the street. So if you're going on based on what they think about America or their own country, I wouldn't blame them for hating their own country. Based on how little care and respect the government has for itself, and then to top it off, right? There's multiple. This topic is so can get so large and confusing at times for somebody. I'm gonna save that one for later. It comes down to the Muslim topic. But besides that, like they believe that they are doing they're just following their religion, basically the government. Yes, they don't. I'm sure they don't believe they're perfect, but it's very hard to negotiate to do anything of that sort when somebody has that belief on and the people are not used to any type of embetterment, change, and there's so much hostility going on. So if you learn to how to think about your country based on people from other countries that aren't doing so well, and there's so much influx coming in, you're not going to get the best of the best quality. You want quality meat? I'm pretty sure most people know that the best quality meat and burgers are not brought at McDonald's. It is the most accessible place, but it's not the best. Whether it can be very popular, it doesn't mean it's the best quality. They're just better at business or better at reproducing, and that's about it. Or that can be about it. Better in advertisements, been around longer, or whatever you want to put a name on it, right? Better Happy Meals. I'm not sure if that's what it really is. Sometimes it could be, who knows? But at the end of the day, if you try to burger at a restaurant, right, it's not fast food, you would see a difference. I'm gonna leave it at that. Domino's pizza compared to like a actual, I love Italian pizzas. I can't mention any other type of pizzas. I never tried it before. But let's say Domino's pizza versus a restaurant pizza. That is not like fast type of pizza, not like Little Caesars and Heat Ups or anything like that. It's gonna taste different. Walmart pizza, hey, I'm not knocking you for buying a Walmart pizza or any of these places. I like pizza as well. Yeah, I get fast food as well, right? Not a fancy guy. I don't have fancy money. It's What was I gonna say? I'm not gonna have like the most shiniest pants on and shirt and look like I came from a Transformers movie. That's a joke right there. But still, still. There's certain things that you can expect getting people from a war zone, and it's not so uncommon to have a war zone like mentality. Whether that is lying to survive or trying to thrive in the gang life, whether that is, mm, hey, not used to working because there are no jobs, because in these certain countries, if you're a woman, you can't work, so you'll never be an asset to society here, right? But you have at least four, 6 kids. A lot of, sadly, whether Muslim or not, a lot of these poor countries, people have many kids. I'm not knocking family. I think it's cool, whatever though, but it's hard. And that's another thing. A lot of these countries, the prices of a home stays the same. It doesn't increase and fluctuate every year, or the rent doesn't always increase. So nobody even knows what you're talking about, even if you were to explain it to them in their language. That is, and then so to take them off of government assistance, it's like the absolute shocking thing that in the world, like even here, dangerous neighborhoods. Uh, somebody comes from poverty in a dangerous neighborhood, that neighborhood is not increasing. Let's say it's not going to be like such an influx of people who want to move into that place that the prices just went sky high all of a sudden unless they're going to rebuild it and it's near a certain whatever it is. Like New York is like a real big city kind of near everything or something like you're not in any type of those situations. For the most part, the prices are not going to be going high, and people don't like that as well. It's like you're barely surviving, and some guy wants to come in and basically make everything expensive and kick you and your family out, and you have to find a place that's cheap if you could find one, or you got to find a worse neighborhood down. And you was liking the neighborhood you were living in with your family or whatever. Uh, that is, just because the worst neighborhood is cheaper, now you can't sleep at, these type of things. And some people even say greed that is in America is unlike any other country. Because anybody that is greedy over in other countries, um, many other countries, I'm gonna say they don't have the same opportunity to, what is that word? I don't even like to use this word, but people use it for race. But I think it's more class. Where they take a poor neighborhood and make it more expensive. So now it's like you have to fight for your life just to eat a meal. Even more. Like this is you already probably come stressed for your job and you don't have enough time. So it's like you have kids on top of that, you don't have enough time. Um, like studying, improving skills. Like these people, some people might just it's not an easy recommendation as well. And if you're not on any assistance as well, and if you are, it's I believe people shouldn't be stuck in assistance. So I'm gonna leave that at that. But do you see how complicated these topics can be? Yeah, so somebody who has never seen or comes from a family who has never seen law, order, justice being any kind of way of served, unless you have a certain amount of digits on the bank account, they're going to have a totally different, even if they assimilate in some circumstances as well, depending on the state of the country. So whatever way, it's much more than just feeling sorry, feeling like it's education, it's many things, right? Many different things that for somebody in certain cases to be assimilate, like just that whole region or whatever. Because I'm saying even parts of Africa are Muslim as well, or just in poverty. Like it's not uncommon for kids not to have shoes, not to starve to death, not that So the, they're not used to even seeing a government like give somebody a water bottle. So the level of distrust in the government, like can range from many years, just simply growing up and seeing that type of stuff, or atrocities, or whatever it is. I'm not saying you're, uh, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm putting a simple term. Basically, just being able to survive is not a crime, and it is not a just being alive is a blessing at the same time. So there's always somebody in worse situations, diseases that people. But if you come from a country like that, it's like if you get a certain amount, let's say a high amount of people, that's automatically even millions of dollars of resources just in hopes that they can acclimate to this society. Because if there's enough of them, they, what's the point of even learning the language at that point, to be honest? Or they're just so much in the same situation that they don't even see that as possible, or they might even think it was just a racist problem because they haven't, because the government they come from, there was a huge classless problem. You don't have a certain amount of money, it's like you're a second class citizen. So just, it's more common for Americans to have more than, they might just think because that's where they come from. So, or there's so much, or it looks like there isn't really that much opportunity, but maybe it's a little bit better because there's so much people that came in at the same time in the same circumstances, and they don't really have examples to look at or to be So it's that too. It's not just throwing money out. It's not just you know helping people feel better. It's not just to give a turkey away. It's not just invite them to church, even though that is a church is the best thing you can do for someone's life. But being saved and being healed can be totally different things. That can be left for another topic, another subject, right? But just to cover all of these topics, um, you know, who you know how long an email that would have all of these topics I just named right now. How long of a conversation? On a normal everyday basis, even if you have the answers, you cannot even say it. And nobody's gonna have this conversation of an hour long, and even if they do, to get it to the right person who can actually do something about it. 'Cause it's like, all right, you talk to the Department of Treasury guy. Let's say if you do, he has to talk and try to convince him to pay against a guy from a department. Yeah, so this is not to put stress into you, but just to see how if a situation of deportation happens to any viewers of any countries, it's not such a bad thing. If they were brought, let's say, into a country, and you feel like they were treated wrong, Well, we were under-resourced because of the influx of immigrants and immigrant situations like wars going on. And the best thing we could have done was to send the loved one to a loved one's family, back to their family. That's another topic that I don't want to get into deeply. But going back to a family where you're more loved or you know more people, you're whatever, and it hasn't been like years or whatever too, so that you left can be an amazing thing. If you stay as an illegal immigrant, most illegal immigrants, if they stay, they get with another illegal immigrant, and it doesn't work out too good. They're forced to live and hide and to to lie or to barely make it by. I understand they might be used to that in their country, but things is getting expensive over here, and it could be a great thing to go back there and have a life because there's colleges in every region, right? Say if you're from Africa is a big region. That's probably one of the biggest regions. There's colleges or other countries that you can go to that can that has a college. There's private schools, there's home schools. There's if you're into that route, trades, and sometimes just being around even just your own culture. If you're willing to put the hours in, hey, whether you're a hairstylist and not, you could probably make more in a comfortable sense, right? Because let's say if you make, let's say if 40,000 a year, which is the average of a middle class, depending on which state you're in, sometimes too, you're probably barely making it by here, right? And the prices just keep getting more and more expensive each year, sometimes. But depending on where you live too. Right, and a lot of people they want to go straight to the movie like life or movie area. They want to go to like the biggest city they can. If they can't, I'll settle for the other biggest city. And then you got the biggest bill, the biggest stress. You can't even get your own ride. The parking is crazy. If you live in a city like New York, you there's people that in a whole month they wouldn't move their parking spot. Like they have it there just because they're too scared to move it. So it's like, wow. And if you have a parking lot, you got to pay for that too, and or pay for street. Like it's insane sometimes. So hey, the people from Venezuela were willing to go back to their country, and they're communist, very poor, don't have any rights. So to me, if they can do it, anybody else can. I definitely am not against deporting people who are forced to be in a bad or worse situation here because of the lack of funds and lack of, because right now, if you look at the race, you do a deeper research into the race. Afghanistan immigrants are number one. I believe Iran is next, and a lot of those women come with at least four kids. So whether even taxes, everything is going to be more, they're giving more money out to them. And then Indian as well. I'm not sure exactly for Indians, but every time Indians immigrant, I usually don't see like it is an Indian immigration. I've seen that they get popular fast in that area. So it's not just one guy moving by himself. But that's another thing too. Somebody from a more Western country or less, uh, how can I say, yeah, Western country. even if they are more prioritized, they're not coming in with that many kids. Somebody, let's say from Australia, might be him by himself, and that there might be many more people by themselves. Him, his wife, one person, one kid, maybe two, maybe three, versus automatically four. Like 10 families is like that could be like two times as much, or even three or four sometimes. Six. That's kind of getting unheard of people in countries like U.S., Canada, Europe to have. So unless because of mass immigration in, let's say, Europe, you might see some different statistics. So that's been changing depending on the year that a certain president was there, so or not, or just plain immigration over the years. I seen from 2017 to now, some of the cases it's just like whoa. But regardless of that, um, I say mind your. hmm, I was gonna say circle, but it's like it's bigger, right? Governments, there's different things involved. Definitely do your best out here. Don't get too involved in these types of topics to where the point where you're just getting a big headache the moment you hear about it, or you just can't wait to lash out, or can't wait to I don't know, you feel depressed about the state of the country and why bother, right? I'm gonna say improvement is not the most common thing to come back to back. So if you get an improvement, that is good. As a blessing, as a God bless moment right there. Thank God, because it's not every day that the fruit comes out of the we see a fruit from a tree basically. There's seasons where it's just the season, so